Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. We have our East semifinal review. Before we get into that, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you have not already. But oh boy, I watched a bit of this game. My friend Rick here watched most of this game, and he's going to have a lot more to say about it than I do. Besides the blatantly obvious, how are we feeling? Although before you answer that,
yes.
I mentioned it in last week's videos. It was hanging on the wall. I got it all fixed up. I want to thank long snapper of the Hamilton Ticats, Gordon White, for signing a jersey. I got his name on it. Got it signed. Also want to thank Rick for going at like 7 in the morning.
7 o'clock.
To his practice, committed. This a true. I don't know what you guys call. We're in Winnipeg. We're true Blue Bomber fans. I don't know what you guys are out there.
As a certain Argo fan, we won't name names. He always says Rick stuff. I was gonna say something, but I don't want to swear. But a gosh darn legend.
He's a fucking legend.
There you go. I didn't want to say it because
no. It's fine. It's fine. We don't have enough watch hours to get monetized yet. We're fine. Anyways, Rick, how besides the obvious, how you feeling about all this and everything that's going on?
Honestly, after last week, I'm just ready for the off season. Like, I'm ready for second, third week of February to come. We'll have our new coaching staff in place. We'll have free agents. We'll be signing. I will go down and deep dive into what I think we should do in the offseason. But
well, obviously you're going to cover some stuff on your Ticats Talk channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to that in the link below. And then also once we hit the offseason, Rick, we're going to be doing probably some maybe some rumor stuff. We're going to cover free agency, and we'll get to that.
This stuff, today's game was so frustrating because, Schultz, after, the third or fourth sack, I was watching it with a buddy of mine. I'm like, you know what? I got to turn this off. I can't watch this anymore. It's painful watching Schultz just run around, do nothing, and then get sacked.
Yeah, and it was one of those things
Butler rushed for 83 yards. Our highest receiver, 37 yards, is our highest receiver.
Yeah, that's abysmal. I'm not gonna lie, that's abysmal, especially after seeing what Godwin and McAllister have been able to do.
Listen,
that's
Tim
ugly.
White did not even get a fucking catch.
No catches.
Your top. No, he went 0 for 3.
Yep. Yeah, that's brutal.
And then, on top of it, not only is your quarterback playing like trash up to halftime, Coach O, I will say, is luckily I'm not at the stadium right now.
Let's be careful here, Rick.
No, I know. Because if some of you have seen my Tommy Condell video, I lost my, you know what?
He lost his fucking mind.
Yes, but going by comments tonight, I'm not the only one who would be standing there. We're talking. Have you ever seen that Simpsons pitchfork flaming meme? That's basically what all Hamilton fans want to do to Coach O.
I'm pretty sure that's actually a reference to the French Revolution.
But yeah, it's all the wood,
everyone's out with their pitchforks tonight. Yeah. I know. Although one thing I will say, one thing that is important is that's going to happen anytime a team is eliminated from the playoffs.
No, but it's not even that. It's
But you at least get what I'm saying, right? A certain amount of that is inevitable. I'm not necessarily saying that that's exactly what happened.
It's not even that. It's the whole year and the crap that the dumbass decisions that he's made this year.
Yeah, well, we're going to actually, I think what would be a great idea is actually after the CFL playoffs has concluded, kind of going into and doing a review of each team's season would be a really, really good idea. Kind of, their expectations going in, what came out of it, all that sort of thing. So I think maybe leaving a little bit of that, kind of the implications of that for a video like that, but just kind of looking at this game, what are the problems here for Hamilton? So Hamilton would lose this game by a score of 27-12. This game in Montreal, Hamilton sticking a field goal in every quarter with nothing else. And so it's one of those things where you can't win a football game on just field goals. It's not going to happen.
Like, it, honestly.
And if I can just finish here for a second.
Sure.
The biggest issue I see here is that let's be generous here, okay? Let's say you're the Ticats coaching staff. You're watching Schultz. He's trying to get it going. He just can't. It's not working. He's holding on to the ball too long. He's not able to connect with his receivers in a way. Halftime is where you have to make that change. Maybe you can make it before halftime. I think halftime is where you make that change. I think that's the best chance because, when you make that change at halftime, you're not flipping the script too much on your team. But when you go into the locker room and you look at, you started the game, you're going to be playing second half, and you're pointing at somebody else, that's going to be Bo Levi Mitchell. I don't think starting Schultz was a mistake. I actually don't think it was a mistake. I think anyone who's saying that has too much of the benefit of hindsight. There's some people I saw that have been calling for Taylor Powell, and I think that's a great way to kiss your 4 field goals goodbye and just have nothing. And it's not because Taylor Powell is terrible, but this isn't. You don't start a playoff game with Taylor Powell when you got options like Bo Levi Mitchell and Schultz. However, when you see that the ship is starting to sink, stop pinching holes and find a new boat to ride on. And that's not what the Ticats did. That's not what happened. By the time Bo Levi Mitchell hits the field, all hope is lost. So it's one of those things where someone's like, oh, well, Bo Levi Mitchell didn't play it well anyway. It's like he had nothing to play for. There was nothing for him to play for because there was no time left. There was like fucking 6 minutes left in the game. There's nothing. And they've been putting up field goals
it wasn't
all
even,
night.
He's got to start the second half. It was 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes, whatever. He's got to start the second half. He has to. And it's one of those things where I actually don't think that the Ticats defense is like that bad this game. I think that there were times where they made some mistakes and they gave up, maybe a little more than ideal. But 27 points,
we did not know how to tackle tonight.
But that's a winnable game. You can give up 27 points and win. You can't win getting fucking 4 field goals. It doesn't happen. Just doesn't. On the Alouette side of things, because I think we've been talking about the Ticats a lot. I mean, obviously you're a Ticats fan, but I feel like it's important to talk about that. William Stanback, 95 yards, 62 yards for Cody Fajardo. That is killer there. Giving up 62 yards on 4 rushes to Cody Fajardo is really not what you're looking for. Really wide array of and when it comes to the receiving department for the Alouettes. Nothing really crazy, but Sneed would go for 50. Austin Mack would go for 46. Tyson Philpott would go for 39 yards, 31 for Hardy, 25 for Stanback. So Stanback cracking, I think it's 120 yards all-purpose for this game. So good game for William Stanback. Definitely what he needed. They really were pushing that in the running department. William Stanback would run for 4 touchdowns and on 18 rushes. So majority of the offense in terms of the touchdown department really coming from him. Only 1 interception for Cody Fajardo. I really think that it was one of those things where like Matthew Schultz, Bo Levi Mitchell, both 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. So just not good there. They got to figure out exactly what they want coming out of there. Cote would go 4 for 4 Leggio would also go 4-for-4. So Mark Leggio was actually, I think, very, very solid here for the Ticats in this game. Just the fact that they were just kicking field goals, it just wasn't enough. It wasn't going to get those big leaps in points that they needed to really get going in this game. So Cody Fajardo, only 212 in receiving yards. I really think this will be a problem for the Alouettes going into the East Final, because it's like one of those things where it's like if the Ticats don't play that well defensively, and I think you've made it clear that. Do you think the defensive effort was there today? Yes or
no? For Hamilton?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So if the effort was not there for Hamilton, and Montreal puts up 212 receiving yards, not a lot, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception, not abysmal. How the hell are they going to do against Toronto, who's been pretty fucking consistent all year? Like, it hurts me to say this as someone who really, really wants... That's the thing. I want Toronto to lose if they get to the Grey Cup. No matter if they're playing against the Bombers, no matter if they're playing against the Lions. Hell, I want them to lose to the Alouettes, ideally. But it's one of those things where it's like the Argonauts look like a damn good team. They really do. And so if I'm the Alouettes, gotta really figure out, like if you're the Alouettes, how can you get Tyson Philpott? How can you get Austin Mack? How can you get Tyler Snead hitting like 70 yards receiving next game? If you're Austin Mack, fuck it. You want 100 yards out of this guy going into next game. William Stanback, 95 yards. Good. Can you do it on less than 18 rushes? Maybe getting that extra yard, that matters. That's going to matter in a game against the Argonauts. But the performance that the Alouettes were able to put up, despite the fact that there were some shortcomings, it was enough to get past the Hamilton Ticats. So I guess that's pretty much all I have. Is there anything else that you have about this game?
Our quarterbacks tonight reminded me and when I say this, you're gonna know where I'm going with this whole theory.
Okay.
Just looking at their numbers, does it not remind you of watching Jake Maier for Calgary this season? He couldn't throw touchdowns. He was always throwing interceptions.
Yes and no. In terms of performance, yes. In terms of usage, sort of. In terms of performance, yeah, I see it. In terms of usage, the only thing I'll say that is a bit of a difference here is that Calgary wouldn't have Maier throwing 23 times. They'd have him throw 43 times. That's the only difference I see. Past that, I see a lot of similarities with him and Jake Maier. Jake Maier did get a lot better near the end of the season, and despite his shortcomings, he was better now in this game this weekend even than he was a while earlier. But it was not enough to get past the BC Lions. Video of that, if it's not out already, it will be out just a little bit later. Make sure you guys check that out. Good stuff. But yeah, I think the last thing that we got to talk about, and we're going to expand on this. We're just going to kind of touch on this a little bit. We're going to expand on this a lot when it comes to doing a team review for the Hamilton Ticats after this Grey Cup is concluded. That Bo Levi Mitchell exit interview, is that what we're going to call it? Because that, oh boy, he made it, I think, crystal clear exactly where he stands on this. And I can see Bo Levi Mitchell's side of things. However, I also see the other side of things. How do you feel about it as a Ticats fan?
So, I mean, I get where he's coming from.
Yep.
Here's the thing. You have one quarterback in Bo Levi Mitchell who has 4 Grey Cup appearances, who has experience. Then you have another guy who has no Grey Cup experience.
Yep.
Yeah, they should have started Bo, and goes and plays a half.
You know what?
I
don't know if I don't know if I agree with that. They should have started Bo. I think people are saying that with the benefit of hindsight. If you look at the way they were performing, I think Schultz was the right guy to start. I think the mistake was making the change when they made the change. I think they needed to make that change earlier in the game, at least at halftime, at the latest. But I think anyone saying that they should have started with Bo, I think you're speaking a little bit too much in the benefit of hindsight. But
it just because, like, if you go and read 3 Down Nation's article, okay, he says at one point, I don't foresee myself being here. But then later on in the article, he's like, oh yeah, this is the place where I want to be, and I can see myself playing for this team. They're a great organization. I want to be here. Okay. Do you want to be here or do you not want to be here? You can't have both.
Well, the thing is that I think Bo Levi Mitchell has made his stance perfectly clear. And what I mean by that is, does Bo Levi Mitchell want to be in Hamilton? I think the answer is yes. However, there is an asterisk. And the asterisk is that the Ticats go all in on him with no exceptions. Essentially, Bo Levi Mitchell looks at the Ticats organization and says, trust me, bro. That's essentially what he's saying. He is saying that he wants to be the guy. He wants to be the number one guy. Is he capable of it? Absolutely. He totally is. However, it's one of those things where, let's take a look. So how many minutes did Bo Levi Mitchell get this game? He got 4.5 minutes, I think you said. I thought it was around the 6-minute mark. Plays. But being generous, he had 5 minutes. Let's just say 5 minutes. Being generous.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't even put that, because if he goes out and throws 2 and out,
I'm being generous.
The other team's on the field, and then
I'm being generous. He gets 5 minutes. That's also including the fact that even when he's not on the field, because you got the defense on the field. But anyways, with that, okay, so what led to this? So he didn't get the start. And again, I don't think starting Schultz was the wrong decision. I think if you look at the way that Schultz had performed, and especially that game against Saskatchewan, a few games leading up to this, I think Schultz put up some strong performances. I think he would show that he was able to run the ball. It's something that the Alouettes, with the exception of Sean Lemon, have had a problem with that, sometimes stopping the run game. I mean, if you look at their game against Winnipeg, they couldn't stop Brady Oliveira to save their fucking life. So if you look at a running quarterback like that and you think of his combination with James Butler, that's a pretty strong combination in terms of running wise. So I can't blame them that much for it. And even then, Matthew Schultz, he did go 34 yards on 4 rushing attempts. But it's one of those things where the reason they got to where they are, or at least where Bo Levi Mitchell got to where he is in terms of his stance in the lineup, he didn't perform. He didn't. The Ticats put him in as the number one guy to start the year. And I understand that the Ticats didn't start playing till Labor Day. But it's one of those things where it's like, if you're the Ticats, your season's got to start when everyone else's does. And Bo Levi's didn't. It didn't. And so other guys got opportunities. And so when they showed a little bit of promise, that meant that Bo Levi Mitchell got pushed down the card. So at the end of the day, there's a certain level of this that I understand where he's like, I'm the highest paid player on the team. Well, then play like it. So I think you can look at it both ways. I get what he's saying about being the highest paid player on the team, and that if the organization is going to make it look like they're investing in him, to invest in him. I get that. I totally get that sense. The other side of it, though, also means that if you're making all this money, then show them why you're worth it.
It's not even that. It's okay. You played one game.
Yep.
Well, we'll say 2 because I can't remember if it was first or second game.
I think he played.
Then he gets injured.
Yeah, I think he played 2 or 3 games.
He played 2.
2 games? Okay.
Then he's out for, 6 weeks?
Yep.
Then he comes back, plays, and then gets injured again. So, really, are they hiding stuff that we don't know? Was he really fully healed? Was he not 100%?
It's possible.
But anyways, the one other thing that I was going to mention is they still have him signed for 2 more years.
Yep, that's
but
true.
It's not guaranteed cash. So, I mean, if they want to move on, but if you move on from him, who are you going to bring in?
That's the
Because I
question.
can guarantee you, Powell is not a starter.
No.
I'll put him as backup, but there's no way he's the starter.
Which is why I think this will be an exciting one to get into when we do our season recaps. I know it's tempting to go into that. I know it's tempting. But we're going to go and do a whole video on it, and you'll be able to lay it all out. And I know you got a lot in there. All right, Rick? We'll be able to lay it all out. We will lay it all out. But I think that's going to be it for this one. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you guys comment down below your thoughts on this video, your thoughts on this game, your thoughts about the Montreal Alouettes moving on to face the Toronto Argonauts this next week in the East Final. And yeah, that's all we have here at CFL Central. We'll see you guys next time.